Dear learners, welcome to today's English lesson. Today we will discuss about developing IPT-based lesson plan. Here I am Urpratam Dash, Instructor General, Sylhet PTI. You already know that lesson plan is a complete guideline for teaching learning activities. An IPT-based lesson plan has three main stages. Those are input stage, practice stage, and task stage. Input is something from which learners get information. It may be written or spoken. In case of written activity, it might be unit of lesson or text. In case of spoken input, it might be a story, a dialogue, a song. It is closely related to the learning outcomes of the lesson because practice is based on it. Practice. Student activities either with the help of the teacher or other students. It is based on the input. Here, the activities lead the students to a better understanding of the input. This can be practicing language points, that means grammar rules, or developing understanding about information given in the input. Here, activities may be supplied by the teacher or taken directly from the textbook. Some example of practice activities are look and say, listen and do, gap filling, answering questions, chain reel, making sentences from substitution tables, etc. Task. Task is also student activities which help students to use the language item and information learned by the students for expressing their own ideas in communication. Example of some task activities: listing, ranking, tell or write about someone or something, expressing own feelings through letter writing or emailing, etc. Here is a lesson from English for Today book of class 3. The name of the lesson is Food We Need. Here you can see different kinds of activities. In activity A, it is listen and say. Here there are some name of foods which we need. Here first the students will listen to the words and then they will say the words. So from here the students will get information. Therefore we can take this activity for input section. In activity B, it is said that write the food from activity A in the correct list. Here the students will work with the information which they have got from input. So it will develop their understanding about the information given in the input section. So we can take this activity for practice. In activity C, there is a pair work. Here it is said that name other foods. Are they from plants or trees or from animals? That the students will find out name of other foods and they will make a list as like the list of the activity B. So here students will express their own ideas using their learning from input and practice. So we can take this part of activity C for the task section. Here are some instructions for preparing IPT based lesson plan. To design a day lesson plan, it is a must to follow the annual scheme of work plan which is designed by DPE and NAEP. Learning outcomes of a lesson must be selected from the respective curriculum or teacher's edition. Instruction of textbook help you getting understanding how many skills are being taught following the learning outcomes, such as when you find look, listen and say activity in EFT, you should use learning outcomes on listening and speaking skills. According to the learning outcomes, you should select the activities of the input stage, incorporating the procedures given in the teacher's edition or using creativity. In practice stage, you should use the activities focusing on the learning outcomes and input. The activities need to be content practice activities and language practice activities. Teachers should select the activities for tasks or checking learning, focusing the input and practice activities. Teachers should follow teacher's edition or use creativity to set the tools for checking students' learning. In the last part of the lesson, give homework following the learning outcomes so that students can practice those at home. In each stage of the lesson plan, the classroom languages should be written in English so that teachers can use those languages in the classroom effectively and confidently. Teachers should also include the list of teaching learning materials in the lesson plan. Teaching learning techniques and required time should be mentioned for each activity. Now, let's see a sample lesson plan. This is a lesson plan on a lesson from class 1. Here, first you will have to give information about the lesson, that means introductory information. Then you will have to mention the learning outcomes. Then you will have to mention the required materials which will be used in the lesson. Then you will have to mention the required classroom languages which you will use for this lesson. For example, good morning students, how are you, look at the pictures, etc. Now the teaching learning activities. Here, the name of the first part is warm-up activities. Here, the teacher will mention the activities which he or she will do for warm-up activity. Like you can sing a song, exchange greetings, can do some physical activity, etc. Then the teacher will check students' previous knowledge and he or she can give an introduction of the lesson and then he or she will declare the name of the lesson. The next section is input. Here the teacher will conduct the activities to give information to the students about the lesson. The next section is practice. Here the students will do some activities with the information they have got from input. Next section is tasks or checking learning or assessment. Here the teacher will assess student learning from today's lesson by some activities. Then he or she will give some homework on the basis of their today's learning. That's all for today. What we have learned from today's lesson. What is input, practice and task, and how to develop IPT based lesson plan. Thank you all. Stay home, stay safe, keep learning.